Hey everybody, John Henderson, Pierre the Beer Ramble, back again. Another beer edition. Today we look at Parish Envie, American Pale Ale. Brewed at Parish Brewing Company in Broussard. Forgive me if it's pronounced correctly, Broussard, North Louisiana. Also have another brewery in Lakeland, Florida. 5.5%, an American Pale Ale, 5.3%. Looks like it went down. Hop aromas of mango, lychee, orange, and other tropical fruits. The brewery started in 2008. Little filming, as you can see here. I've been doing a lot of my reviews on my phone recently, guys. My battery's been going bad, so I'm probably going to have to get a new phone, but I've been doing a lot of my reviews. But yeah, this beer is very foamy. Ugh. Not what I usually anticipate. I'm going to give you another glass, guys, so stand by right here. Not something I usually do, but bought this at Rouse's. It was a single, 16 pint can. Man, this is a very foamy beer. Excuse me. I don't know what it is about pale ales. I know I had recreational by Terrapin. I guess you can say that was a pale ale, but that was also very, very foamy as well. Definitely some hints of that very strong hop formula, hop characteristics in there, as I mentioned. Very fruity. I don't smell any mangoes, but I do get some of that orange and tangerine, some satsuma scent to this beer. One thing people will think, well, this is an IPA. For those who are Beer 101, Beer for Dummies, you remember Computer for Dummies, that book years ago, but yeah. But this would definitely not be that. It has those aromas, but it's not an IPA. So, again, this beer is very foamy, guys. You can see a lot of foam down the hatch. Move this other glass right over here on the side. Maybe I'll pour the rest of this in here. It has that look of a sort of a juice, sort of a tangerine, sort of a lemonade, kind of citrus sort of combination type juice. There was one that was back in the years ago, back in the day, that had a look to that. I can't remember what that was, but limeade or citrusade, I don't know what it was, but. Thinking this beer may be out of date. I'm thinking, yeah. For me, yeah, March 12th, 2018. So, yeah, canned. Well, let's say canned on March 12th, 2018. So, yeah, we're in August, so I guess a couple of months old. All right, I won't get into that, and I'll kind of let it be. Anyway, brewery gets started in 2008 with many other breweries in the state of Louisiana. Abita comes to mind. You have, of course, Dixie, which is possibly maybe opening up another brewery near downtown or near the city of New Orleans again. Jack's Brewery, which was years ago. So the state of Louisiana has had a very good history in terms of putting out some very good beers. Yeah, so I guess when it gets like this, I guess if it's out of date and gets this foamy, I guess it is sort of has passed its time. So now people say when you look at these flavors and tastes and say, "Oh, this is an IPA." I say, "No, it's not. It's not. Some may think that, but it's not an IPA. IPAs tend to be a little bit more hoppy. They used to have hops, but IPAs tend to be a bit hoppier, if there's such a term like that. But let's see. I've had other pale ales that I think comes to mind. There's the Fairhope. Please forgive me if those on Fairhope are watching. The 51 Pale Ale, if that's the correct term, I may butcher that. Of course, I have Recreation from Terrapin, but the one that really stands out to me in terms of all pale ales is Sierra Nevada, which many feel one, as well as what's the other big company, really kind of began the craft beer movement. But pale ales, the style has been around a lot longer, as is lagers and pilsners, porters. So a lot of history to those. But again, the same bit hop characteristics, very citrusy, very fruity. And pale ales as well as sweet ales are very good during the summer months, as is lagers and pilsners too. So start with the beer nose, but so very refreshing. You taste those tropical, you taste that orange, you taste that yeah, I could say is, it's not overly fruity, but there is definitely some of it in this where it takes over the beer, but the hops are kind of balancing it out as well, so it's not bad. Definitely I would say this is more of a spring, summer brew to have. Again, the beer being out of date, I guess maybe the reason why I have it, why it's foamy as it is, I figure I just kind of mix it up a little bit. Yeah, looks like a damn milkshake I'm pouring. What is this? The mad scientist is pouring beer. Yeah, I mean, look, as we always say, a lot of these stores sometimes they just don't care. They'll trying to give away beer and they'll say, "Here, this is for sell it at this price for $1. We know it's out of date, but let's just get rid of it." One thing I am noticing now, sort of now at Dollar General, when let's just say I'm in the store and I see they'll usually have their specials. And again, Dollar General, if you may not know this, a couple of years ago, they did a test market run in different cities across the country to see if beer can be sold, at their at all their stores across the country. So they did a couple of test markets here and there, certain stores, and so now it was pretty successful. So I believe in 2011 they began selling alcohol, at all their locations. Wine, beer, and everything else. So one day I was getting my car worked on, and I turned around and said, "Is that wine right there?" And I looked and said, "Hell yeah!" And then realized that Dollar General started selling wine. So, but anyway, back to my story. So a lot of these, they'll, and you see these markdown specials of beer or whatever wine that they have. Well, I'll leave the wines out of it, more so the beers. And they'll have these specials that week to week they'll have specials, $6.95 for a case of this beer or whatever, this for Keystone. And I said, that's not bad. And I thought, like many, great deal. Sure, let's just check it out. Why not? And so then I began over the years doing my research. That's kind of a little cheap for a beer like this. And I look at other places, it's like this is about higher, and then I look at this place, it's cheaper. So I wonder what's going on. So I began to look at some of the dates recently on some of these beers, and I noticed, particularly the natural light special that they'll have with the Bush specials, and I noticed that why they're selling for cheap for what it is, because obviously some of the beers are out of date, literally out of date. So, for whatever the reason, I just don't know why. It is what it is. So let's say, hey, sell it, mark it down. And now, as far as the Keystone, they're about close to on point with their dates, as well as some of the other Miller beers. But the Anheuser-Busch brands, they just like, you know, man, let's just get rid of it. We're not going to waste it. Yes, it's 2017, but come on. People are going to buy this beer. It's dirt cheap. You know, next week we'll probably mark it down to $4.95 for a 12-pack. Yeah, are you getting a good deal? So, is the beer really on point in terms of freshness? Probably not. So, what about it? You like my cut, guys? Got a haircut, you know. Nice. Okay. Anyway, so maybe there's a difference with this, me tasting this now compared to the other, but oh well. If it was fresh, probably a lot better. It won't be as foamy as it is right now. So, but overall, I think it's a pretty good pale ale. I think there are others out there a little bit better. Again, Sierra Nevada, and the one from Fairhope. That's also good, but you know, this will stand its own. Not overly hoppy, but the hops balance it out, balance the fruit flavor of this beer to not make the beer too overly fruity. So I'm gonna give this beer, I'll give this beer a B+. So that would be an 8 point. Well, make that say I'll give this beer a B-. No, I'll give this beer a B, because obviously the born on date is the reason. You know, I would have given a higher score, but a B seems to be a very fair score. So I'll give this a B, so it'd be a 7.9, 8 with a bullet on this one. So that is my score for Envie from Parish Brewing. B score for the American Pale Ale. Jean Henderson Pierre, the Beer Ramble. So keep on watching as always. Cheers. Bang, 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 bang. Envie, 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 Envie.